Hello everyone, and welcome back. In the previous lesson, we explored the Civil 3D interface and learned how to navigate tool space, prospector, and settings. Today, we're going to talk about something that confuses almost every beginner. Styles. When I first learned Civil 3D, people kept saying, just change the style, create a new style, modify the label style, and honestly, I had no idea what they were talking about. Eventually, I realized something important. Civil 3D is really a software built around styles. The objects themselves are actually easy. The difficult part is controlling how those objects look. If your contours display incorrectly, it's probably a style. If your labels are the wrong size, it's probably a style. If your alignments look different than company standards, it's probably a style. Today, I'll show you exactly how styles work and why understanding them is one of the most valuable skills you can develop in Civil 3D. Before touching any settings, let's understand the concept. Think about Microsoft Word. You can have two documents with identical text, but one looks professional, the other looks terrible. Why? It's because of formatting. Civil 3D styles work exactly the same way. A surface is simply a data. The style determines contour intervals, contour colors, contour line weights, labels, display settings. The same surface can look completely different simply by changing styles. The same thing applies to points, alignments, profiles, corridors, parcels, pipe networks. Everything in Civil 3D is controlled by styles, and there are two major categories: object styles and label styles. Think of it this way. Object styles control how the object appears, while the label styles control how information about the object appears. Let's jump into the Settings tab, expand Surfaces, expand Label Styles, expand Spot Elevation. Notice that we already have several styles available, Civil 3D ships with many predefined styles. These are great starting points, but eventually you'll need to create your own. Most companies develop custom styles based on internal drafting standards. Today we're going to build one ourselves. Right-click Spot Elevation, select New. The Label Style Composer appears, and welcome to one of the most important dialogues in all of Civil 3D. You'll spend a lot of time here throughout your career. At first it can feel overwhelming, but once you understand the structure, every label style in Civil 3D becomes easier to understand. The first tab is Information. This seems simple, but it's more important than many users realize. I strongly recommend creating a naming convention. For example, company initials, project code, department identifier, anything that makes it obvious that this is a custom style. Imagine inheriting a project with 200 styles. Half of them are Autodesk's defaults, half are custom. Without naming conventions, you'll waste a lot of time trying to determine which is which. For this example, I'll create test. The goal is clarity. Future, you will thank present you. Also, this sample CAD file can be found in the description box below. Now let's move to the General tab. This is where things start getting interesting. The first setting I want to discuss is layer. A common misunderstanding is that labels live entirely on one layer. They don't. Civil 3D labels behave more like intelligent blocks. The label itself exists on one layer. The components inside the label can exist on another. This gives us much greater control. Let's change our text layer. Maybe your company standard requires topographic text on a specific layer. You can define that here. Next, we have orientation reference. Most people leave this set to view, and honestly, that's usually the correct choice. Why? Because it helps maintain plan readability. Let's talk about one of my favorite Civil 3D features, plan readable. If you've ever rotated dozens of labels manually in AutoCAD, you'll appreciate this. When enabled, Civil 3D automatically flips labels so they remain readable. Instead of spending time rotating text manually, Civil 3D handles it for you. This is one of those small features that saves hours over the life of a project. Now we arrive at the heart of label creation, the Layout tab. This is where the magic happens. Every Civil 3D label is made from components. Think of a label like a Lego model. Each piece contributes to the final result. Components can be text, lines, blocks, ticks reference text, let's create a reference text component. Reference text is one of the most powerful features in Civil 3D. Imagine labeling a spot elevation. You want to show existing ground elevation and proposed ground elevation in the same label. Reference text allows that. Instead of creating separate labels, Civil 3D pulls information from multiple objects simultaneously. Select surface, click OK. Now we have a reference component, let's rename it. Always rename components, trust me. Once your labels become complex, generic names like text1 become impossible to manage. Now let's edit the actual text. Click the contents field, open the text component editor. This dialog is where you decide what information the label displays. At first glance it looks intimidating, but think of it as a menu of available data: surface elevation, point number, station value, offset, slope. Civil 3D simply allows us to choose which information we want displayed. Let's insert surface elevation. Then let's set precision, 1 decimal place. Notice something important. Precision isn't controlled by the surface, it's controlled by the label. The same elevation could display as 100, 100.0, 100.00, 100.000, depending on the style. Understanding this distinction is critical. Now let's talk about something many beginners struggle with: anchors. Every component needs to know where it lives. Civil 3D uses anchor points and attachment points. Think of hanging a picture frame on a wall. The wall hook is the anchor. The point on the frame touching the hook is the attachment. That's exactly how Civil 3D positions label components. Once you understand this concept, complicated labels become much easier to build. Next, we have borders and masks. Masks are extremely useful. Suppose your label sits on top of contour lines. Without a mask, the contour lines pass through the text. The result looks messy. A background mask hides the line work behind the label and improves readability. Professional plan sets use masks extensively. Now let's switch gears. So far we've been talking about labels. Let's talk about object styles. Remember, label styles control information. Object styles control appearance. Expand alignment styles. Create a new style. Open the style editor. One tab you'll see everywhere is display. This tab controls visibility. For example, do you want arrows visible? Do you want tangents visible? Do you want curves visible? Do you want different appearances in plan view versus model view? Object styles allow all of that. A single alignment might need design view style, construction style, presentation style, plot style. Instead of creating multiple alignments, we simply create multiple styles. If there's one lesson I want you to remember from today's video, it's this. Civil 3D is not just a design program, it's a style-driven design program. The faster you become comfortable with label styles, object styles, the label style composer, and the text component editor, the faster you'll become productive in Civil 3D. In future chapters, we'll continue building styles for surfaces, alignments, profiles, corridors, and many other objects. But now you understand the foundation that every one of those styles is built on. If this tutorial helped you, subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments which Civil 3D topic you'd like me to cover next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.